The very first board game ever created was called Senet. It originated in Egypt. The directions for the game goes as followed. Throw the sticks and see how many squares you need to move your piece. You can't land on one of your own pieces. You can land on if you land on anyone else's other piece, you switch places with them. Some squares are safe squares and some squares are safe squares and some squares are danger squares. The first player to get all their pieces off the board wins the game. Gaming wasn't popular until the 1970s and the 1980s, when arcade video games and gaming consoles and home computer games were introduced to the general public. Since then, video gaming has become popular for entertainment and a part of the modern culture in most parts of the world. The first video game was called Cathode Ray Amusement Device, which was invented in 1947. The inventors were Thomas T. Goldsmith Jr. and Ethel Ray Mann. The next game that came to exist is Tennis for Two, the electronic interactive game engineered by William H. in 1958. The main objective of the game is to hit the ball and get it over the net, and if you miss the ball, you lose. Pong was invented in 1972 by Alan Alcorn. Pong is a sports game that simulates table tennis. Players use paddles to hit the ball back and forth. The aim is for each player to get 11 points before the opponent. The points are earned when one fails to return the ball to the other.
The Space Invaders game was created by Tomohiro N. and David Yu, first released in 1978 on the different platforms such as on arcade games and later on the Atari 2600, which was released in 1980. The 1980 Atari 2600 version of the game quadrupled the system's sales. In designing the game, Tomohiro N. drew inspiration from the movies Breakout and Star Wars, as well as the book The War of the Worlds, which is a book about Martians in space. To complete it, he had to design his own custom hardware and development tools. Space Invaders is a two-dimensional in which the players control a laser cannon by moving it horizontally across the bottom of the screen and firing at descending aliens. The aim is to defeat 5 rows of 11 aliens that move horizontally back and forth across the screen as they advance towards the bottom of the screen. The player defeats an alien and earns points by shooting it with a laser cannon and hope to. It was one of the front runners of the modern video to a global.
In December of 1994, Sony released the first widely available PlayStation console. Within 3 months, 1 million PlayStation units were sold, with over 900 million PS games. The PlayStation was invented by Ken Kay, and Sony released the PlayStation 2 in October of 2000. It sold over 980,000 units in its lifetime by March of 2000 and became the fastest console ever to reach over 1 million units shipped. The release of the PS2 brought back several franchises and characters that fans had been asking for from the PS1 era. PS3 was released at the end of the year in 2006 with an abundance of features that only Sony's newest console could provide. At the end of November 2013, it had sold over 80 million units and also more than 300 million games worldwide. Many years after the release of the PS3, PlayStation Vita was announced. As a handheld console that ran high-quality games with very good graphics, PS Vita brought the ability of touch input technology with it. PS4 was released in 2013 by Sony in November and was invented by Mark Cerny. Cerny designed the PS4 to let developers of games to create new gaming experiences and make gaming easy to use. PlayStation 4 became known as the fastest selling console in the history of Sony. It sold more than 30.2 million consoles and has sold faster than any other PlayStation ever made. To raise the sales, Sony filled the PS4 with non-game features.
A company named Ostendo is working on a chipset that has the ability to project video onto a 48-inch diagonal surface. With multiple projections, it could therefore form complex images. HP is also working on a 3D interface for smartphones for in the near future, but not a lot of research has been done on their part. The very first video game with 3D graphics was the 3D Monster Maze game. The inspiration for it was the D-pad, which was used on many future console controllers as well as the Game Boy. The PS5 can use this type of technology on the controller to showcase maps and messages by displaying them in front of your very own eyes. Depending on how much the technology has evolved, you may be able to interact with these 3D projections as well. As long as your PS5 has an active Wi-Fi connection, your DualShock 5 controllers will automatically charge themselves once they reach a certain threshold. The charge of your controller can be accessed via a menu on the controller itself. And you can choose whether you want the controller to charge at a certain point during the night, or you can have them to change in game once they reach a certain percentage.